oh my God, bro's gonna be like, you're fired. And secure the bag, you're gonna need to follow these 10 tips. And without further ado, let's get into it. Tip number 6 is to communicate. This is a big one. Whatever you do in life, communication is key. Know what their expectations are from the jump. Kind of builds a level of trust, especially if you're virtual, right? They don't know what you're doing. You could be sitting here watching Netflix for 8 hours. Don't do that. Actually do your work. Definitely communicate if you, let's say you have a project and it's taking you longer than expected. Communicate that to your manager, your boss. Don't just turn it in late and be like, hey, sorry. Communicate where you are so they can understand where you're coming from. Personally, like this happened to me. I was working on a project. It was taking me a little bit longer than expected. I sent him an email. I was so scared. I was like, oh my God, bro's gonna be like, you're fired. And he was like, oh my God, no, it's totally fine. Thank you so much for communicating that you couldn't get it done. And again, that wasn't me waiting 5 minutes before. It's really funny. I actually picked this up when I was a waitress for like 2 months pre-corona, and it was awesome. I got free food. One skill that I learned there was that to repeat back what the person orders. So number one, I have really bad memory. So whenever someone would order something, they, oh, okay, let me just make sure that I got the order right. You ordered XYZ with no guac, da 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 da. And by repeating it back, probably realized that I like misheard it, but then I corrected it and I did the same thing in my internship. So listening is a key part. Tip number 7 is to find your connect. Okay, what does this mean? Find your person or find your tribe. This is why it's so important to network. So if you're not meeting people and talking to people, it's going to be hard for you to find these 2 types of connects. First type of connect that you want to have is someone who's not necessarily at your level, but hopefully like one level above. I was able to get more insight into what an analyst actually does. So it was so nice to have someone who I could ask my dumb questions to. Because you know those questions that you're like, okay, I like can kind of Google this, but I also don't want to ask it to my manager because it's kind of dumb. The other type of connect is a sponsor. And so usually you have a mentor that's like your buddy, but a sponsor is someone who's going to be hyping you up in rooms that you're not even in. The crazy thing about a sponsor though is you can't go out and be like, hey, will you be my sponsor? You most of the time will have a sponsor and not even know it. But the important thing here is how to get a sponsor. Doing all these other tips by networking, communicating well, doing your job. That's how you kind of stand out. So important to make friends with the people in your intern group, because that's where you can like really ask your dumb questions. One time I didn't know how to get the PowerPoint theme or whatever, and I like texted in the group chat and someone responded, right? If I had asked that to my manager,
hopeful for today, take this music and use it, let it take you away and be hopeful.
At the end of the day, you want people to have a positive connotation when they say your name. If you have that, you're golden. I'm living my life like it's golden, living my life like it's golden, living my life like it's golden. Tip number 8 is to be curious. This one was definitely a hard one for me. I'm not even gonna front. When I was younger, I used to despise asking questions. I thought it made me look dumb, or someone else was gonna think my question was dumb. But then I saw the light, and I knew that asking questions actually makes you look smarter. It shows people that you don't just accept the status quo and that you're actively thinking about what they're saying. If you're ever stuck, you don't really know like what question to ask, or if you're kind of confused, one of the best question words to use is why. Start with why. I've still never read that book, but I know that why is an important question. It really can reveal so many answers to questions that you weren't even really thinking about. Think about what your business does and try to really understand how your role contributes to the business's bottom line. Tip number 9. I heard this last summer and someone had said, leave this company better than you found it. And that really just hit me. I had never heard that before. People come in there like, oh, you know, like I have to do this. I have to make this new software. I gotta like change the company. I gotta invent something. But it really isn't even that deep. I think if you just come in with the intention to leave things better than you found it, you will have a positive impact. Just noticing little things and making little improvements. I want people to miss you when you leave. Like my team, they were so sweet. They're like, oh my God, we're gonna miss you. And I'm like, I'm gonna miss y'all. At the end of the day, right? You have value. You have worth. You were hired for a reason. Share your knowledge and just keep the energy. Tip number 10 is to ask for it. Ask for it. If you are going to an internship where it's not pretty much like assumed or well known that you may have the potential for a full-time offer, it is important to ask for it. Ask about it in the beginning. I'm not saying day one, a few days, a week or two. You can say, hey, I'm really loving working here. I would love to know what the things that you guys look for if you're thinking about full-time employment, yada, yada, yada. This will do 2 things. It'll tell them that you're interested. 2, that's the cheat code right there. One of my favorite questions to ask is, what were the qualities of the best interns you've ever seen come through this program? And I'm like over here taking notes. If at the end you get to your internship and they still haven't asked you first, Again, you can ask them, just make sure you do it in a respectful way. It's not what you say, it's how you say it. They may come and be like, okay, like, why should we hire you? Like, what's the reason? What you can do is from the jump, keep a running list of all the projects, the tasks, the people you've met with, just so you have a record of all the things you've done. Maybe you've been doing things, but no one knows about it. This is not to brag, right? This is just to show your worth and say that I think that I've provided value to this company and this team. Here's why. You're going to secure the bag, even if you don't want to secure this bag, right? These are just tips that can help you out to make the best of your internship, make an amazing, lasting impression, leave the company better than you found it, because no one's perfect. No company's perfect. I'm wishing you the best of luck in your internship. If you're just starting, halfway through, you're wrapping it up, you can implement these tips in any point in your internship. Any comments, questions, concerns, let me know where you're interning this summer. I'm going to be using these same tips as I start my new job. And yeah, have an amazing day wherever you are in the world. And until next time, goodbye.